Hey guys, it's Jason with the Board Game Mechanics, and today we're going to take a look at a game that has a huge obelisk that goes to the sun. And that game is called Tekhenu, Obelisk of the Sun. Tekhenu is a game from 1 to 4 players from Board&Dice. It has Danielle Tashini and David Tercy as designers. And what you're doing in this game is it's a dice drafting game. You are trying to build your population, make your population happy. You're trying to build buildings in the quarry. You're trying to build pillars and buildings in the temple. You're trying to build statues around the obelisk and just in other areas. Really what you're trying to do is score the most points. So you're doing all that other stuff to get points. I'm not going to go into much detail about talking about it now. Let's just go down to the table. Check it out. All right, so here's a game of Tekhenu, or however you say it. I'm terrible with names. All set up for 2 players. I'm not going to go over setup a ton. I'm just going to kind of show you what you're going to have on your player board and kind of what's going on the board. So everyone's going to have a player board. It's going to be set up like this. You're going to have your statues down here, your buildings here. You're going to have resource cubes here. And depending on some cards that you're getting to start the game, so setup, you may have different adjustments. So this player has extra resources, this player has additional cards, and that's that. So on the board, same kind of thing. You're going to put some cards in some spaces where it says that the card goes. They have certain kind of backs here based on where the population is on this track. So we are in red population, so we're going to fill all the way up to the red color on this track with the appropriate cards. We're going to put gold on spaces on the board that have little pieces of gold here. So there's 5 of them. There's these 3. There's that one over there and that one over there. You're going to put these tiles up here in this space. They're going to be used to build your pillars over there in the temple. And then what you're going to do is, based on the number of players, you're going to have a certain amount of dice. And you're going to take 3 for each section, and you're going to roll. And based on the section, whether it's shaded, light, or dark, is going to tell you if the die is pure, tainted, or forbidden. We're also going to determine who goes first over here, and that was based on the starting cards that we had. We're going to look at the number, and whoever has the highest number goes first. So in this case, orange had the highest number. I got rid of the cards, but they had the highest value, so they're going to be going first. All right, so let's talk about what you can kind of do on this game. So during this game, it's going to be a dice drafting. We're going to draft a die, and then we're going to take an action. So there's a couple different things you can do with these dice. The dice can be used to get resources, except for gray. So a black die you can take to get this resource. The brown die you can take to get bread, this resource. The white die you can take to get this resource. So on and so forth. And that's one of the actions you can do. You just take a die, I take a brown. Wherever you take it from, it'll go on your scale. So I took this from pure, it'll go on my scale. I'll get that many of the resource if I want to take it. So if I took that die, it would go on my pure side. I would get 1 bread. I would just take the bread from the supply and go. If I would take more than 2, I can only produce right now 2 of those goods. So if I had a 4, I would keep 2, and the other 2 would go over here on my tainted side of my scale to maybe kind of balance it out or make me have to work harder to balance it. So that's one thing you can do. Second thing you can do is you can take the die to take the action of the god. So the god actions are all going to reference to the point of the board that they're pointing at. So kind of like this. So let's just go over those actions really quickly. So we have this god. That is Horus. Nope, that is Thoth. Yeah, I can't say these names that well. I'm upside down. Is that who that is? Bastet? Yeah, that's Bastet. All right, so if you go here and take a die for the action, you'll take it, put it on your scale based on whether you took it from pure or tainted. And then based on what die you take, you're going to have to pay some papyrus. And then the value of the die is going to move up your happiness by that many. So if I took this die, put it on my tainted side, a 6 would move me up 6 on this track right here. You can't ever go, your happiness can never go past your population, so you're trying to move that up as well. And then based on the value of the die, I'm going to get a scribe token, which I'll explain in a little bit. So that's that action. Next, we have Thoth. Gain 1 to 3 cards from the card market. So same thing, you're going to take a die, put it on the appropriate space on your board, You're going to pay one. You can pay one papyrus to refresh a section of the board. So if I wanted to refresh this section or this section, I could discard all the cards and get new ones. Then based on the number of die, I can take an action. So I took a 4. I could pay 2 papyrus to take 2 cards from any one section based on where my person is here. So in this case, I could take a card from where my happiness is, I believe. I could take a card from only this section. So that's that. Next is, who is that? Horus. Build 1 statue. So if you look up here in this area, you're going to be able to build statues. The statues are on your board down here. They have a certain cost, which I don't know if you can see that well, but it's the black resource, which again, I'm terrible at the names. So this resource you have to spend. You're going to spend that resource for however much you have to spend. The first statue on every board costs 4. Then you're going to, based on the number of die, you have a couple options. So if I took this one, again, it goes on the pure side. Well, I need to put this back where it was. It goes on the side that you take it from. Then I have a couple options. For a 1, I can put a statue for the people by paying the resources on that space. So I can go over to this side and put the statue on the board. It would look something like this. So when someone takes that action, I'm also going to get the bonus that's listed next to this. In a 2, 3, and 4 player game, the way you get that bonus is different. I'm not going to go into that a ton. Just know that you may not always get the bonus. Or with any value of die, you have another couple options. I could take my statue and I could go over here, build it in the foundry. I would get the gold. And then what this is going to do is it's going to let me break ties, if there are any ties in here, or it's going to count as having 1 building in this section. I can build there, or I can go over there and build a statue in the temple. Again, doing this, and that's going to give me some kind of points based on how many of my own pillars I can see in that row. And I'll get to that in a second. So that's that action. So that's a yellow die. I'll go there. All right. Next action, you can't really see that well, but that is Ra. So Ra is how we're going to build pillars in the temple over there. So this is a pretty easy action. You're going to take a die. So I took this from the tainted section right there. I have a 5. So I'm going to take the 5 value tile here, and I'm going to put it, pay the good. So I need 2 white and a black resource. And then I'm going to take this tile and I'm going to put it over there into one of those spaces. What I cover up, I'm going to get. So if I cover up this, I would get 3 faith tokens. If I go here, I get a white. If I go here, I get 2 blacks. In the middle, you get a gold. So you go up there, get that, then you're going to put your pillar on top of that. You're going to get points based on how many buildings, period, doesn't matter whose buildings, are in that row or column that you build. So if I built here, and there was a building here, here, and here, I would get 3 points. Then I'm going to get points based on if I can make any of these sides match up. So I can put it right here, and then I would have 2 yellow sides next to each other. Actually, I don't think you can spin it, but I could put it right there. I have a yellow side matching each other, and I would get a point. And then I'm going to get what I cover up. That's that. Another thing, if the background of this tile matches the background of the section where that action is from, you can also take that bonus action. So in this case, this is in daylight. This is a shaded tile. So I would not be able to take that action because it's not in shaded at this point. Then you refill, so on and so forth. All right. Next action is Hathor. You construct 1 building around the building complex. So over here, you're going to be building these buildings on your board. Over there. You're going to do that by paying 1 bread. Oh, I missed one. Yeah, we'll get to another one. You'll pay as many bread as it takes to build. So you can see on the board over here, 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth. You build the bread. Wherever you build the building, you're going to get 1 resource of everything that you can see. So if I built there, I get a faith, a white, paper, a black, and a bread. You don't get multiples. You only get the multiples if you cover it up. Then I'm going to get 3 points for every one of my own pillars I can see. So if I have a pillar out there in this row, and I have 3 pillars here, I build there, I would get 9 points. And then I'm going to move up my population by the amount of the die. So if I took this die, I would get to move my population by 5. And that is that. All right. Next we have this one, which I completely forgot, which is Osiris. Osiris is going to let you build buildings in the foundry. The way that works is you're going to take a building, you're going to take a die. So say I take this 2. Two's always tainted, or gray is always tainted. And then I would get to build in the row that is a 2. So I could take my building and put it in any of these rows. I'm going to get the bonus that's showing right here on the top. Then I'm going to get to move up on the tracks that it says here. So I could go here, I get 1 white resource, and I get to move up my production. So this is how you're going to build up your production. And then there's going to be area majorities for each column at the end of the game. 3 points for whoever has the most. First person to build in column 2 gets a gold. I don't know how I missed that one. That was just not paying attention, I guess. All right. So that was a 2. So that is that. So that's what all the actions do. That's set up. Now let's just go play through a couple rounds. All right. So orange is first player. So let's go ahead and take an action. They get to take a die, and then they're going to do an action. My favorite thing to do in this game is this. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you that. So I'm going to take a die from, what is her name? Osiris. And I will take the 2, because that's the only one I can take. It's tainted, so I'll put it on the tainted side of my board. And then I get to build a building on the 2 space, just kind of like I showed you in the overview there. So let's go ahead and let's take some black. So I get a black right now. Then I get to move my production of the black resource up 1, and that is my turn. And I also, whenever you build a building down here, your people are building it for you. So you go down 1 happiness. If you can't pay the happiness, you can't take that action. At the end of the game, or at the 2 scoring rounds, you're going to have to end up paying some bread based on how many buildings you built, but you may also earn points. So bread is going to be important as we move forward. So that was their turn. Now it is purple player's turn. I'm just going to do a different action so you can kind of see what's going on here. I don't have a ton of resources, so let's do... Man, that's terrible. I don't want any of these actions. Let's just go ahead and build a statue. I can't even do that. I don't have any resources. All right, so let's do the same thing that the other player did, because I need to get some resources. I can't do that. Dang. When producing, okay, that's fine. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take this action for a papyrus. So I'm going to take papyrus. Then I'm going to cash in this card. It's a one-time benefit that I got during setup. When producing resources, gain 3 gold. So that's out. I get 3 gold. I didn't explain gold. There's no way to get gold, but other than through card play and building statues, and that is a wild. So I effectively have 4 of any resource that I want. I also didn't explain scribes. I may do that here in a few minutes, but I don't know yet. All right. So back to that player. We are going to take another die. Let's go ahead and I want to show you this action. So I'm going to take this. Oh no, let's take this one. We're going to take a 4. So I'm taking a 4 of this action. That cost me 2 paper. So I have 1 papyrus and I'll spend a gold. And I took the 4. My action is going to let me go up 4 on this. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to unlock all the cards in green. So I'll go ahead and fill those up now. So these go here. And then we will have some one-time cards. And then we will have an in-game goal. Right there. All right, so the white cards are one-time abilities. These are whenever it happens, you get the good, so it's like a technology, and these are in-game goals. So that was their action, and because they took a 4, they also get a scribe. Where did I put those? Right there. All right, so they have 2 scribes now. All right, now back to this player. They're going to take another die. Let's see. Let's build one of these bad boys. Let's do this. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to build a pillar so you can see that in action. All right, so when you're building a pillar, you're going to do a couple things. So I took a 5 die, put it in the appropriate space on your board. Then I'm going to take this tile right here because it came from the 5. So because it comes from that 5, I get 3 points. I messed all that up. 3 points. All right. Then I'm going to have to pay the goods. I already did that off camera. I forgot to put that. So I have these gold here. I'm going to take these gold and pay it. And then I'm going to take this tile over here and I'm going to cover up a section of the board, and I'm going to get some goods. So I'm going to put it right there. Take 2 black goods. Bring those over. Then I'm going to take one of my pillars and I'm going to put my pillar on top of it like that. Then I would score some additional points. If there were any buildings in that row or column, I would get some points. If I was next to another color on the side, I would get some points. I'm not getting any of those. And then I'm going to get what I covered up, which I already did. So then I'll take a tile, I'll flip it, it'll come back out. If I would have taken this one, things would slide down, but I didn't. So that's that. So that is the end of the first round. A couple things happen here is you are going to then spin this. Every time a player has 2 dice, you're going to spin. And then what you're going to do is you are going to rearrange the dice accordingly to the new side. So gray is always tainted. Then brown over here will become pure. White, these are still off limits. Gray is tainted, black is pure. Brown over here is pure. Can't see that one that well. Black is forbidden, fine. Brown is forbidden, black is forbidden. So these are going to be the other actions that we have to do this time. And there's going to be new dice. And what we're going to do is we're going to take 2 dice per player and roll them in, or 1 die per player and roll them in the appropriate shaded areas, which are right here. So white is tainted, and then yellow and white. Yellow is pure, white is tainted, and there we go. And then we would keep going like that until we've played 2 more dice. And then at that point, we're going to have a mott phase, which is basically you're going to have to weigh your scales here, see which one of your scales is positive. It's going to basically determine turn order. If you're too far negative, you're going to lose points. Whoever's closest to 0 is going to be the new first player. There's going to be a few other actions that happen on that, but I'll let you look in the rule book. It's not that big of a deal. You're going to get rid of your dice, put them back in the bag, spin, resort out all that stuff. And then once you hit the 4th round, you're going to have a mini scoring, which is going to be signified on your board by anything that has the white hourglass. So you're going to get some points over here. You're going to get points based on your statues, points based on your temples and your buildings over there. I think there's one more, I can't remember. Yeah, there might be another one that I'm not seeing on the board. I can't find it. Oh, and then, yeah, 3 points if you can make it to if your happiness can make it to the triangles on this board. And then at the end of round 8, you are going to do some more scoring, and whoever has the most points is the winner. There's one thing I didn't show you, and that is called an Anubis action. That's where these scribes come in. These scribes have a couple different abilities. I can spend 1 to take a die up or down by 2 pips, or I can spend 2 to be able to take an Anubis action. You saw that some of these dice are forbidden. That means I can't use them until the pillar turns around. But for an Anubis action, I can take any die that I want and do any action with it, and it doesn't go on my scale. It will come down here to not be counted in my balance. So I can take that 1 yellow. I could take resources with it. I could take any of these god actions that I want as a value 1 yellow. So that's pretty powerful. I also didn't explain faith tokens. Faith tokens are going to help you balance out your scales. So right now, if I had a 5 and a 1, I could put this faith token over here and it would be a 2. Any faith tokens that you don't use after a mat scoring phase is going to go away, so you might as well use it or you're going to lose it. So that's most of what you can do in this game. Yes, I missed some stuff. I didn't show everything because that we would be here for a long time. But hopefully that helps you get an idea of how this game plays, what you can do with it, and see if maybe something you would dig. So that's Tekhenu. Let's go to the top, see what we think about it. All right, well, that was Tekhenu, or Tekhenu, I don't know. That was that game that begins with a T and has some other letters. This game is amazing. I'm going to spoil that right up front. So I love it. I was wanting to have some redemption after Teotihuacan, which I didn't love. I know I'm in the minority there, but I didn't love it. So when I got this one, I thought, man, come on, it's got to be better than Teotihuacan. It's got to be better. And it was. It's amazing. So this is a dice drafting game. I love dice drafting games. I love games where you can have multiple things doing different, getting you different things. So in this, you can draft a die. It does a couple different things. You have some in-game goals that you're trying to get. You're building your technology. You're getting statues, which are going to fire off special abilities. If someone goes to that action, just so much stuff going on. The production is amazing. I love, this is a side note, I love the player colors when they come with pink and purple. My wife, Katie, loves being purple. This light blue is a nice break from the normal blue that's just boring. And this thing, completely irrelevant, but it spins the little dark shade light section around. Not a big deal, but it's cool. Production is top notch. Iconography is top notch. Rulebook is great. The only thing I wish was this player aid. I wish it was a little better. It says what the god actions do, but there's just so much in each of those god actions. It's like 2 pages in the rulebook, and you have a sentence here. A little underwhelming there. I don't love that, but once you play the game a couple times, you're going to figure that all out. So this game's amazing. I love it. It's one of my favorite games that's come out from the Italian designer in a while. It's better, in my opinion, than Alma Mater. I know not the same designer, but I'm going to collectively call them the Italians. Better than Alma Mater. It's up there with like Trismegistus for me. So good. I enjoy it a lot, and I'm going to give it a BGM acceptance seal. And this is going to get an 8.5 out of 10 on BGG, which is a 4.25 out of 5 on an arbitrary rent scale. That means absolutely nothing. But we like to give it to games that we enjoy. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to give this a seal because it's a game we enjoy. So if you like cool dice drafting games, you like heavy games, you like games that are done by the Italians, even if you like Teotihuacan, which I don't know why you would, but I'm just kidding. Even if you like that game, check this out. It's so good. It's crunchy. It's thanky. And I enjoy every play of it. So that was Tekhenu from Board&Dice, or Tekhenu, whatever. I'm Jason with the Board Game Mechanics. And as always, keep gaming.